everybody. Welcome to the OnStage Blog Theatre Podcast. And today is going to be very exciting. Today we are celebrating the best of Broadway, particularly our leading ladies, some of our favorites. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm theater critic Rachel Wagner, and Jax is here.
Hi, I'm so excited to do this one with you, Rachel.
Yeah, it was a great idea. This was one you had suggested, and I'm like, oh, that would be fun. That would be fun.
Yeah, hard to narrow it down. And then also I have a feeling we're going to have quite a few that overlap.
Yeah. Well, and also I have to say, you can tell that I'm 43 because I'm making this list. I'm like, pretty much all of my picks are nearing 40 or over 40. I just don't know like the young Broadway scene and I was actually thinking that Bonnie Milligan was younger than she is. And I'm like, oh, she's 40. So they all are all my picks.
I know, I thought she was a baby too.
Yeah. So that's my sort of inherent bias showing on this list. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. And not only are we going to talk about our favorites, but we are going to pitch a revival that we think would be fun for this actress to star in, to play a role in. And so we thought that would be kind of a fun wrinkle. And so we definitely want to hear what you think. Well, who are your favorite leading ladies on Broadway, or maybe they haven't been on Broadway, you think they should, and you think they'd be amazing. So we'd love to hear that in the comment. We'd love to hear that in the comments. So share with us what you think of our picks. But let's just dive in. Let's do this. And mine are not in any kind of order. I'll love all 10 of these equally.
Oh yeah, I couldn't possibly do this in an order either.
Yeah. But who is the first person you want to talk about?
Audra.
Yeah.
Audra McDonald.
Yeah.
I mean, queen, icon, legend. I remember hearing her for the first time, not in person, but hearing her sing Daddy's Son. And I was like, who is this? Like, she is, I just think she is absolutely transcendent. An actor that has such like a rich emotional depth. She's funny, she's beautiful, she can sing the birds out of the trees. I mean, she's a living legend.
Yeah. I was surprised in looking, because I have her, of course, on my list as well. I was surprised in looking up that her debut on Broadway was in Carousel revival. I know, I just thought that was interesting.
Oh, I actually didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. And so she got started with the classics and then went up from there. She's won 6 Tony Awards, which is amazing. And and she is just so phenomenal. She's done a little bit of everything: Raising the Sun, 110 in the Shade, Porgy and Bess. The list goes. Ragtime, of course. What a beautiful. I've never actually seen her perform. I would love to someday.
I've never seen her live either.
Oh, and of course she is coming up on Gypsy this fall. Oh, unbelievable. That'll be so good.
Which is crazy because, like, of course, that's a revival I want to see her in, and she's doing it.
Yeah. And when I was thinking about a revival that I would love to see her in, I was trying to think of something that would be a little bit different, that we haven't seen her in a role. She has done Shakespeare in the past. She did Henry V. She did Henry IV. And I'm seeing if that was on Broadway. Yeah. She was Lady Percy in 2003. She's done Shakespeare in the past, but I still think it would be pretty amazing to see Audra McDonald play Lady Macbeth.
Yes. Okay. So when you were saying Shakespeare, I was like, oh, she has to do Lady Macbeth. She has to do it. Like 100%.
I feel like she hasn't done like that kind of role, like something really unhinged and really like dark, and I would be really curious to see her in that.
And she's got it in her, like, can you imagine that scene when she's unraveling and she's like out damn spot, like, just and the monologue where she's like, I would pluck my child from its breast and dash the brains in, like, I can hear. Even though this isn't quite the game we're playing, I just have to ask, who would you cast as her Macbeth?
Well, I mean, well, like Denzel Washington was just in the film version, and it was great. And there was a great version, underrated movie. I think I mean, I guess it did get. I think it got nominated for awards and stuff, but I don't know. I think it kind of flew under the radar a little bit. It was really cool. The filming was in black and white, and it was, of course, the acting was incredible. I really enjoyed it, and so that's the first person I think of is Denzel Washington. That would be a pretty cool production.
That would be incredible. Incredible.
Yeah. And I mean, and she has been nominated for both musicals and non-musicals. So it's not just her incredible singing voice, but she received 6 Tony Awards for actually one of her Tony Awards was for Carousel. I didn't realize that.
I didn't realize that either.
Yeah. So one of her Tony Awards was Carousel, and then Masterclass, Ragtime, A Raisin in the Sun, Porgy and Bess, and Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill. And then she received Tony nominations for Mary Christine, 110 in the Shade, Frankie and Johnny in the Claire de Lune, and the Ohio State Murders. So that was 2023.
You know, what's interesting about Audra McDonald is, you know, her voice, right? Like, she singing like that, she could just be an all right, good actor and still be wildly successful because her voice is incredible.
Yeah.
As you said, like, she's doing plays. Like, she can, like, her acting chops, like, she is just a truly extraordinary actor. The fact that she can sing like that is mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
Like, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah. And I will never forgive the 2017 Beauty and the Beast movie for completely wasting Audra McDonald. I mean, they have her as the wardrobe person.
It's not
I forget the name, but yeah, it's like you gotta make us suffer through Emma Watson singing for 2 hours, but we can't have Audra McDonald.
Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? No.
Bonkers. But she's great. That was an easy first pick, of course. We're both gonna have Audra McDonald. She's incredible. I can't wait for Gypsy. It's gonna be so good.
Wait, when does that premiere?
I think it was in November. I think it's in.
So, I mean, I come to Utah in October and then you come here in November.
Yeah. Well, I've applied for New York Film Festival, so right. Fingers crossed. Yeah. So, yeah.
You have to come back for a Gypsy though.
Yeah. Well, and I'm also I have a trip planned with my cousins in December. So that I'm doing. Yeah.
Oh, that's me. Okay, good.
Yeah. So I'll definitely at least be out there in December, if not also November for hopefully New York Film Festival. But anyway, well, who do you have next?
I have Brenda Peters. Growing up and even just seeing her, I've never seen her perform live, but I remember, watching her Sunday in the Park, Into the Woods. She's just so incredible, funny.
Annie, Get Your Gun.
Annie, Get Your Gun.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Annie, Get Your Gun. She's just, to me, like, every character she plays and like all of it is just so filled. It is so filled. You can't watch her perform and forget it. Like, she's one of those people that is just like a complete standout to me.
Yeah, and her voice was so unique. I think especially when she was first starting out, the way that she did the belt and her style, that she really did help kind of revolutionize like a whole different type of singing.
Yeah, that's very true, that like it wasn't fitting in this box or anything like that. Like, she absolutely was. And I had no idea. I looked it up before we did this. I had no idea that she's 76. Like, of course she is, because she's been around for a long time, but I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, and I should add that we wanted to keep this list like relatively current. Somebody who had done projects recently, and she's done some concerts, she's done some, and as opposed to like somebody say like a Barbara Streisand, who yes, technically is alive, technically of course is a Broadway legend, but hasn't done anything on for quite a bit. So that's what, if people are listening, like, why are the heck are they not talking about Julie Andrews, or some people?
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fine.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Uh,
she did do the Bernadette Peters did do the Sondheim tribute show, I think in 2020.
yeah.
So she's, out there in the mix, but boy, is she good. Like, I
No
mean,
question. Yeah, no question. Well, my next person is just a legend. We're talking about Kelly O'Hara is my next one, and I have seen her twice. I saw her in a concert she did here at BYU, and that was incredible.
oh
And then
wow.
I saw her in Lightning Piazza, which was incredible.
I've never seen Lightning Piazza. Was she just like stunning in that?
Yeah, it's such a hard show. Oh my gosh, the like minor keys and the changes and the how long they have to hold the notes out, and it's tough. And the character is really hard. Her character was very hard to do because she is I don't know what the correct term is now, but she's like special needs.
Mm.
She doesn't process she doesn't process everything like well, and so her mom's like really overprotective, and then she starts this relationship in Italy, so it's beautiful and subtle, but it also could be cloying in the wrong hands. And
Yeah, that could go off the rails.
yeah,
Mm.
and her performance was just so beautiful, and Matthew Morrison so great in the other lead. It was a special experience to see at Lincoln Center, and that was my year of 2006 when my aunt was living in New York, so I think I saw 11 Broadway shows that year.
Oh my gosh.
Over
Seriously?
2 trips. Yeah, it was special.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, I mean, I feel like that was a really good year for musical theater
Yeah.
too, to be able to, and I wish I would have seen, I meant to before it closed, Days of Wine and Roses. I've heard she was incredible in that.
Yeah, I've heard that it's a rough set. I mean, it is something that's very surprising that it would even get greenlit. Like,
I know, I was too.
does anybody really want to go to a 2.5 hour, show about these alcoholics, and they're like, that just sounds horrible. But, but I mean, the cast was undeniably incredible, and if she had won the Tony, from everything I've heard, I wouldn't have been surprised, because
Yeah.
I heard she was just amazing in that role.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to think of kind of what project to for a revival, because Kelly O'Hara has done so many revivals. She's kind of the revival queen.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to. She's done Kiss Me Kate. She's done South Pacific. She's done The King and I. She's done a ton of revivals. But I think it would be really cool if they, there's this off Broadway, this Jacklyn's Ball, Cats, that's getting tons of
Oh,
buzz. Yeah,
yes.
people are talking about it, and I'm dying to see it. And I heard for her to do Grisabella, that would be amazing. I would
Oh,
love to see that. And I mean, her singing Memory would just be incredible. And so,
I love that.
yeah. So, what
Yeah,
about you?
she is such a talent. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
it's interesting, like you said, that I think both of us skew a little older on our list. And there are women who are currently on Broadway who I love, but I think like they'll move into legend status maybe in 10 years. But for
yeah,
now,
yeah,
mine,
yeah. Well, so who do you have next?
Patti LuPone.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, Patty.
Diva. She's a
Diva,
diva.
and I love it. Like, that's not my personality. That's also not the personality of most people that are in my orbit that I'm close to, except for you, Rachel. You're such a diva.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Um, but even I think it was 1979. She did Ava Perón. She did Evita. Um, incredible. She won the Tony for that. She's done, Gypsy, like all these iconic roles. And I do love the way that like we see Patti LuPone in the media now, where she like, just someone has a phone out and she's like, stop it. And she quit Equity, but then she came back to
Yeah.
Equity. And it's like, girl, you go off. I would watch you do whatever. You are just, there are just people that are stars. Like
Yeah.
she's a star. And yeah.
So we actually didn't ask for your revival for Bernadette Peters. I forgot.
Ooh, for Bernadette. Ooh, that's tricky because she's also done so much. I probably want to see her. Has she done Mame? Because I'd love to see her in Mame if she hasn't.
Oh, I don't think so.
I'd love to see her in Mame.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be like chef's kiss.
Yeah. So what would be your revival for Patti LuPone?
Ooh, okay. So for Patti, I think I want something not quite like with Audra with Lady Macbeth, but for Patti, I want something like completely unhinged. I would love to see, I know this like isn't gonna happen because it's already, happening now, but like I think her Mrs. Lovett would be like on fire.
Yeah, that would be really, really good. I think she would make a great Norma Desmond too.
Oh, Rachel,
Yeah.
that's so good. That's so good.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
it's so interesting. Both Sweeney Todd and Sunset Boulevard, that those two characters that we're talking about now, Mrs. Lovett and Norma Desmond, that they were played by much, much younger people in these latest incarnations. And to me, I saw Sweeney Todd and Annalee Ashford was great, but again, like the age thing, like I prefer those characters aged up.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to see Jamie Lloyd's company did Sunset Boulevard, and it looked like it was absolutely stunning. Or maybe it's even coming, but the pictures.
It's coming to I think it's in October or November.
So I mean, the pictures look incredible, and like I've heard great things. But I just love the idea of this like aging starlet, whereas like this actor doing it, she's like hot and young.
And I have seen Patti LuPone. I did see her in Company. She did a great Joanne. So
Oh,
more
really?
could you want?
Oh, I bet she was. I bet she was incredible.
It's really fun. So my next one, I actually have Idina Menzel, and she actually hasn't done anything on Broadway for a bit, but she has a new show coming out in 2025. So I feel like she's still kind of in the discussion, and she's just got such an incredible voice. The way she holds out those notes, I mean, in Defying Gravity and Let It Go, and just unbelievable. I can't believe. And just so expressive. And she's just done so many great shows, whether it's Rent or and If Then, and she's just incredible. I've seen her in concert twice. I saw her in a solo concert, and then I also saw her with Josh Groban. And so that was both incredible.
Oh, I think that was amazing with Josh Groban.
Oh yeah. Awesome. Really great. And who I've seen Josh Groban more than any other performer live. I love him so much. I've never got to see him in a Broadway show, but I would love to someday. But I have seen him 6 times in live. Yeah.
Well, I would say, Rachel, I saw Todd, but he was out that day, so I have not seen him in a Broadway show or live.
One of the best memories of my whole life was I had actually missed the window when he was doing his Awake tour, so like peak popularity, to get tickets to his show. And so I was really disappointed, but then I found out you could still get tickets if you're a member of his fan club. So I'm like, let's do it. So I joined the Josh Groban fan club, get my ticket. They send me a t-shirt, and and so I go, my tickets were horrible, of course, because I had gotten, this last, so they were way up high. And it was a really hard time in my life. Nothing good had happened to me in a long time. And I was just really depressed. And so I go to this concert with my good friend, and I have my fan club t-shirt on, of course. And I go into before they announced that they were recording the Awake DVD, whatever, that night. And so I go out to get a drink or whatever. And this lady comes up to me, and I don't know if it's because I had the fan club t-shirt on, but she comes up to me and she's like, we need to fill out the lower bowl seats for the DVD, right? And would you like to move? And I was like, oh my gosh. And so and so I go get my friend. Oh God. And we were at the edge of the stage. We had our hands up, he touched our fingers, and it was like, it's one thing like if you get those seats, and you pay for them and you're excited. It's like another thing to go from like zero to hero, in like to go from like the worst seats in the house to like, it was so much fun and so exciting. And we did, like, even though the camera panned over us several times, we weren't actually in the end product, which was too bad, but it was an incredible day. And I just felt like, I don't know. I just felt like everything in my life was so miserable that it was like one thing that was happy in my life.
That's a God wink. That's
yeah, it is.
Like, okay, I love that you got to be right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like we were on the edge of the stage. It was unbelievable.
That's insane. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You have to leave that in. You have to leave that in.
Yeah, it was really, really special. But every time I've seen Idina, I've seen twice, and she was like absolutely amazing, incredible. And there's actually a really good little documentary on Disney Plus with Idina about her I think it's her last tour before the pandemic. I can't remember. It's been a bit since I saw it, but it was really good, talking about her marriage, talking about her life, and singing. So if you're a fan, you should check it out.
I've only seen her once. It was when I was in high school and I saw Wicked. And
fun.
I was like, no, we are from such a little small town. Didn't really get to, I think I'd been in New York. No, it was my first time in New York. And my friend Joanna, her mom rented a limo and took us to Wicked, which is so crazy because like, I'm like, can't even think about what that costs now as like an adult and we got really good tickets and I got to, see Idina.
So original cast?
So no, it was Kristen Chenoweth, who I'll talk about in a second, had just left. So it was Jennifer Laura Thompson was playing Linda. So it was the original, except for I think Kristen had just left, like even like a week before.
Yeah. And we're totally due. I'll wake it up. So once the movie comes out for sure. But I've seen it once, and it was actually with Anna Gasteyer was playing Elphaba, which was fun.
Wait, I did not know she did it.
Yeah, totally. And she nailed it. She did a great job. So that was interesting.
Oh, I bet her acting was phenomenal.
Yeah. And she can sing. She really can.
That's amazing. I mean, that's not an easy show. I mean, that's an incredibly hard show to sing.
Well, I was thinking of revivals for Idina, and she hasn't actually done a revival, which is interesting, but what I think would be, she's never done anything Sondheim, and I think that it would be really interesting to see her as the witch in Into the Woods.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
It's interesting that you say that.
Right. Everybody knows I don't love Into the Woods, but I still recognize that the role is challenging.
We converted you?
No.
Yeah.
But it is my favorite part of the show. And I don't hate it. I just don't love it.
No. I just love. I was like, is she Wood stand now? Is she?
Yeah. Well, who do you have next?
I have Kristen Chenoweth.
Yeah.
I didn't see her in Wicked. The only time I've seen her perform live is years ago at the Hallmark TCA. She was performing.
Oh,
and
fun.
it's like, oh, what an angel. I mean, I think she is so funny. Her voice is incredible. Her screen work is also excellent. And I also love that, she is a strong Christian who is also a vocal advocate for the LGBTQ community. So, I mean, I'm like, I know that's not like quite her performances, but I'm like, you're a leading lady of my life. Like, I just love you.
Yeah. She's great. No doubt about it.
Yeah. I would love to see her. So I have something I'd like to see her in a revival in, but then you said Into the Woods and I had another thought. So two thoughts. Dot and Sunday in the Park. I would love to see her do that.
Yeah.
And then actually, I feel like this is not where someone would normally put her, but I would love to see her take a stab at the baker's wife and Into the Woods. We can get Idina to do the witch. It'll be a great reunion.
Yeah.
Let's produce it.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes that actually works best when you cast somebody against type.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, so my next one is Anikanoni Rose is my next pick. And what's surprising to me is that she's actually only done one musical on Broadway. All her other roles have been non-musical parts, which surprised me. Uncle Vanya recently, Raisin in the Sun, and Cat on the Hot Tin Roof. Well, she was, I guess, technically she's done two, but she's only had, because she was in Footloose, but she's only had one lead musical in Caroline or Change, which that I was really surprised by that, because I just think of her as a singer.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just saw her in Uncle Vanya, and oh my
She's
word,
so good.
she is so good.
Yeah.
She is so good. She's on my list too. Yes, incredible. I wish I would have seen Caroline or Change.
Yeah.
Sure, she was phenomenal. She should be doing all the things. She's great.
Yeah. Well, so she was in the Dreamgirls movie, but I think that she would make a great Effie. I would love to see her singing those songs.
Yeah, I would love to see that. Also, like, it'd be really fun to have Dreamgirls revival.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be amazing.
I would love to. I've never seen it. That's a blind spot. I've never seen, I mean, I've seen the movie, but I've never seen it on stage.
I haven't either. I'd love to.
There was one company who was doing it. I had tickets, but then it got canceled because of COVID. Like, yeah, it was 2021, and everybody got sick and
a bit sketch. Like, okay, I guess.
I'm like, darn it. But I hope I get the chance to see it eventually, of course. But so you had Anikanoni Rose on your list?
Yeah, I just think when I saw her in Uncle Vanya, I liked her before, but there was so much about that production that I liked and some things I didn't like. And I just thought was such a standout for me in that production. That's a play. I love Uncle Vanya, and I'm very familiar with it, and I have like all my ideas in my head about the characters. And I just thought she took Yelena to like the next level and made her like, Yelena can be kind of in some ways seem superficial, or not a villain, but a little bit like, and I just was captivated by her all the way through. And yeah, I just thought she was phenomenal. And I think Dreamgirls is an excellent choice for her. Like, I would love to see her in that revival.
Well, who do you have next?
I have Philippa Sue.
I have her as well.
You have her?
Yeah.
She's one of our babies, our Broadway babies, born in 1990. Great Comet, Hamilton. I think she's just a delight. Exceptional actor and singer. And I feel like she's one of those leading ladies that we're going to see so much more from.
Yeah, Camelot. She did that too.
Yes.
Yeah, of course, Hamilton. Yeah, she's great. I mean, a great actress as well as having a wonderful voice. When I was thinking of revivals for her, the first one I thought of is for her to be Kim in Miss Saigon. And I know that gets a little dicey because she's technically Chinese heritage versus Vietnamese, which is in the role. So, I don't know, but she would be incredible in that role.
Yeah, and I feel like I think also Miss Saigon being on the brain, you and I talking about how much we love Miss Saigon, like just imagining
Yeah.
her in that role. Um it's funny with her because I was thinking, we're going through all these things and thinking about like legends of Broadway and what will we want to see them in. And Sondheim like just keeps popping for me.
Yeah.
I thought it would be really fun to see her, just because I love this song and I feel like she would kill it. What is the name of the character in Company that sings "Not Getting Married"? Not getting married
Oh,
today.
Amy.
Yes, yes, yes. I think
Yeah.
that she would just be really phenomenal in that role. Of course,
Mhm.
like Miss Saigon is a much more like iconic
Yeah.
character,
I
but
could see that. Yeah, totally.
it'd be fun.
Well, my next person that I have is Laura Bell Bundy. So great, so funny. I have seen her in concert twice. I saw the Big Girl Now concert she did with Carrie Butler and Marcia Winokur, and then I saw her solo concert, and she was so lovely and so fun. And so I've seen her twice, and I think it might be fun for her to do her take on the chaperone, Drowsy Chaperone. I think she would be really funny
Oh,
in that role, and he's
yeah,
just stumble along, that kind of a thing. And I think that could be really good because she's so
I love.
funny. She's a great comic actress.
Yeah, and that's the show that you need like an absolute old school triple threat,
Yeah, it's true. You
which I
really
think
do.
is getting rarer and rarer now
Mm-hmm.
for like the dance aspect. Like
It's true.
movers, of course, but like to be able to like the way in that show you have to be able to dance.
Yeah, that's true. And but she can pull off the comedy while also you need it to be this big anthem song, so you need to have the chops too. And she does for sure. So who do you have next?
Well, speaking of the drowsy chaperone, I have Sutton Foster next.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I have her on my list as
you
well.
are,
Yeah.
I wish I would have seen her in Millie, but I didn't. I, would listen to all the songs and finally saw her in the Drowsy Chaperone and was like,
Yeah.
wow. Um, like just
Did you
my
watch the pro shot they did of Anything Goes over in West
no,
End? Oh, it's
it's
so
amazing.
good. You got to watch it. It was unbelievable.
I need to see her in that because she was Reno Sweeney, right? Or was she
Yeah,
Hope?
the lead.
Reno Sweeney.
Yeah, the lead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she really is the triple threat because she has a great voice, but she's arguably a better dancer than she's even a singer, but she's a great singer. But her dancing is phenomenal.
Also, I've heard from so many people. I've never met her, but I've heard from multiple people that she's so nice.
Yeah.
I just love that.
And I have had the chance to see her twice. I saw her in Music Man, and I also saw her in Drowsy Chaperone back in 2006. And the Music Man, I think, was really interesting. It was totally what everybody needed for 2021, like
Right.
2020, whatever, post COVID. It's what everybody needed. It's what everybody needed coming back from the pandemic. We needed it really felt like community theater in the best sense of the
Yeah.
word. It felt intimate and comforting and simple, and just like, was it the best version of Music Man I've ever seen? No, it was not. He was not the best Harold Hill I've ever seen. He wasn't. But in a way, it all just kind of felt wholesome. And I think that's just what we all needed then.
And I like that you used like community theater in that sense of word because I think you and I are two people who love and value community theater so much
Yeah.
that that's what it is. It's bringing community together.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. I thought he was a curious choice for Harold Hill, but he's gonna get butts in the seats.
Yeah, no question.
And
I
why
mean,
not?
he was shouting the lines a little bit. It
Yeah.
was a little like, but he was not bad. It just, was it the best I've ever seen? No, but it was comforting.
Yeah.
Everybody was trying their best, and there's something comforting about that.
Yeah, and I think Music Man is one of those old standards that we've had with us for a long time that it's just like we know that there's a familiarity to it.
Mm-hmm. Mhm.
Um, I do wish, I'm curious what her Lovett was like, her Mrs. Lovett was like.
Yeah, I would be curious for that as well. Well, that's why for when I was thinking about Sutton Foster, my revival that I thought of is she's never, I mean, I guess Miss Lovett is the most of a villain that she's ever done. Usually right now she's the princess in Once Upon a Mattress.
Yeah.
She was Fiona in Shrek. She was, usually the likable heroine. I think it would be really fun for her to be Miss Hannigan in Annie.
Oh,
I would
yes.
love to see that. I think she would really bring a good to that villain role and be really fun with the kids. And I don't know. I'd be curious to see it.
I love that you say that because I went through the same journey and I couldn't come up with one. I was like, okay, I want to see her in something a little bit edgier. I didn't get to see her as Lovett. Maybe that was that. But now that
Yeah.
you say Miss Hannigan, yes, chef's kiss. I love it.
Yeah. Well, so my next pick is Bonnie Milligan is my pick, and she just barely won the Tony for Kimberly Kimbo. So she was in Head Over Heels, which I didn't get to see, but heard was really wonderful, underrated. I just love her, and she's so funny and so sweet. And I just think it would be so fun to see somebody like her in usually I just think it would be really fun to see somebody like her as Marion in Music Man.
Oh,
Like you don't think
yes,
of somebody with her body type and her personality
yes.
in a role like that. And it would be so refreshing and a fun spin because there's nothing that says that Marion has to look a particular way. She can look
Nothing at
any
all.
way. Nothing.
Yeah.
And so I think that could be really fun. And the sort of the back and forth because she's smarter than Harold. She figures everything out.
Mhm.
I think it could be real fun.
Yes, I love, and also especially with these characters that there's no, which and honestly I think most characters are like that. We just have an idea of what this person is supposed to look like that plays
Yeah.
them. But most characters actually it doesn't matter. I mean for certain stories of course, like Ragtime or Miss Saigon, like
Right.
of course race matters, but if we're talking like um race, body type, anything like that for Music Man, for Into the Wood, for any of these shows. Like it doesn't matter. And we should have more diverse casting like across the board.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love that.
And I just think she brings something interesting to that role. So that's what I would have. But
I love that.
who do you have next?
So next on my list was an Economy Rose, but we already talked about that. So then after that, Lindsay Mendez, who I just saw in Merrily We Roll Along.
I saw
Just
two, so yeah, so good.
yeah, incredible. Like I think that she is so grounded, yet so funny, and like there's a relatability to her, um, an incredible voice, and I just really like I really, really enjoy watching her on stage. I feel like that role in Merrily is not an easy one to navigate, especially when you're with like Jonathan Groff and Daniel Radcliffe. And I'm like, oh, she killed it. Like the three of them as a trio, I just thought was incredible. So I am looking forward to seeing a lot more from her.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. So what would you revive for her?
So this is a good question. I feel like for a revival for her, um, I was thinking, like the funny thing is like this is happening now, but I think that she'd be really funny as Winifred in Once Upon a Mattress. Like I
Yeah.
feel like her madcap comedy. I also feel like that's a role too that Winifred um can be anything. And I just feel like her, and then actually I was thinking probably just because I'm in the Merrily thing, I was like, it'd be really funny to have like Daniel Radcliffe as Dauntless.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I
Yeah.
just think that would be so cute. So I would love to see that.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be really fun. Well, my next one, and extremely apologize if I say this name wrong. I really do. But it's Joaquina Kelukango. And I really think that her performance on the Tonys of their song from Paradise Square was one of the most amazing performances I've ever seen at the Tony Awards. It's unforgettable. And uh, and I know that she was on she was in Into the Woods. She was the witch for a part in this recent revival. She's done The Color Purple. She's amazing. And I would just love to see her in more things. And it's a shame because of all the behind the scenes mess with Paradise Square that they never did a cast recording. So we never got her.
They actually didn't do a cast recording?
No, they never did because of the producer mess.
That's awesome.
Which sucks because you get her. You only have that's all you have is that Tony performance. That's the only record that we have of the whole show.
Isn't that wild? How I didn't realize they didn't have a cast recording. That's so upsetting.
Yeah, but she's unbelievably talented, and I would love to see her in lots more. Let's see here. It's "Let It Burn." That was the name of the song.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was so good. If you all haven't seen that, it was unforgettable. But what I would love to see, I think it would be super fun if they did a revival of Ain't Misbehavin'. And she would be incredible in that show. And it's more of like a concert. It's more of like a Broadway review. There's no plot. It's just like all these different amazing songs, Fats Waller and their jazz standards. And it's a classic. I've only gotten to see it one time, but it was amazing. And I just think it would be so cool to hear her take on these jazz kind of classic songs. And there's a lot of humor to those songs. Like my feet's too big, and things like that. Kind of
It's Too Big
funny song.
Is funny.
Yeah. And so I think that would be a nice thing to see her like comedic side.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my favorite songs. Like I remember hearing it for the first time. I was like 11 or 12. I'm like, this song is hilarious.
Yeah. It's really good. If people don't know that show, don't know the songs, you should look it up. It's really funny. Yeah. So that's what I would do. What do you have next?
The next person on my list is Lea Salonga, Miss Saigon, but also just like Disney icon.
Yeah. Mulan and Aladdin.
Yeah. So a lot of people know her face, but almost everyone would know her voice. She is just incredible. In thinking about what I would like to see her in a revival, like I actually, this is like kind of like maybe a weird take, but I would like to see her do a little bit out of left field, but like a Velma in Chicago. I think like pairing her with someone.
Oh yeah.
I think it'd be kind of fun and like a little bit of like leaning into that sexier side. I think would be really fun.
The like other end of the spectrum, I was thinking she would be really fun as the fairy godmother in a Cinderella. I think that would be really fun.
It would be great as the fairy godmother in Cinderella. Get you a girl that can do both.
That's right. Well, my next one was Philippa Stu, which I already talked about. So after that, I have Bebe Neuwirth, who's just barely been in company. She's done so many incredible, iconic shows, so many iconic roles, and so she's a legend, and love her, and I love her even on Frasier. She's so good.
So good. So much. Oh my gosh.
But yeah. She's done Sweet Charity, Damn Yankees, Fosse, The Addams Family, Chicago, Cabaret, like just unbelievable. So when I was thinking what would be super fun, and I don't know how you can't not have her on the short list of Joanne and Company.
Yes.
She would be incredible. Ladies to Lunch. She would do a great Ladies to Lunch.
Oh my gosh, can you even? Like, it would be so good. Like,
Yeah.
I think that would be phenomenal. That is also just one of those songs that you're like, wow, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And that's actually my last one, because the next one I have is Sutton Foster, which we already talked about, and Miss Hannigan and everything. How many more do you have?
I only have one more, and this
Okay,
one
good.
I know is kind of probably a little bit of a weird take, but I've seen her in 2 Broadway shows, and I was just blown away both times. Michelle Williams, I saw her in Cabaret, and I saw her in Blackbird. And the reviews were mixed. The reviews were mixed. But here's the thing. In Blackbird, I had known the play before, really liked the play. Did not like Jeff Daniels in it at all. Like, did not like what he did with the character. I thought Michelle Williams in Blackbird was like absolutely brilliant and interesting. Everything she did, I was just like, she's so dropped in. I thought it was so incredible. And her Sally Bowles in Cabaret, like, look, can she sing the birds out of the trees like our Queen Audra? No. But I don't really think Sally Bowles can either. And you can kind of, you can have a Sally Bowles that can, be the most amazing singer. And of course that totally works and that's fun and that's musical theater. But her Sally Bowles was heartbreaking to me. So
Mhm.
I had to put her on the list. As far as a revival, I don't really know. And I would love to brainstorm with you because it's not like I think she needs to be doing musical theater. I would just love
Yeah.
to see her on stage again. And honestly, I don't know in what.
If they ever did a stage adaptation of Greatest Showman, I would love to see her reprise her
Yes,
role
yes,
if she's in
yes.
that. That would be fun.
She was great in that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm a Greatest Showman apologist. I had a great time with it.
Oh, honestly, I did too. Like,
Yeah.
look, people, what do you want?
Yeah. And she's a heck of an actress. I mean, if people don't believe it, you should watch Manchester by the Sea. That movie is brutal, but she's absolutely devastating in it.
I have not been brave enough because I know how brutal it is. But another one that is brutal, but in a not as brutal way, Blue Valentine.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I just love
yeah,
her. She's a great actor. She
yeah.
also, I met her really briefly one time, but barely talked to her. But what was funny is that my friend was in Cabaret and we got to go, he had like an after party that we went to. And my cousin, who's not involved in the arts at all, she works in supply chain. She and Michelle Williams talked in a corner for like an hour about supply chain and like other things. And they were just like
Yeah.
completely off. And my cousin was like, yeah, she's really cool. Like my cousin was not into the whole celebrity of it. And of course I was just like bowled over by the
Yeah,
whole thing. So
yeah.
I think she's really just a
That's
phenomenal.
cool. Yeah, that's cool. Well, very good. So let us know what you think of our picks, and what you think of our revival suggestions, and what you would suggest if you were casting these ladies in the newest revival. We'd love to hear in the comments section. Check out everything on Stage Blog Theater Podcast, all our playlists, everything we've been talking about. We have a lot of great episodes and a lot of great articles on the website. And Jax, where can people find you?
At Jacklyn Collier on Instagram.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, on Rotten Tomatoes, and at rachelsreviewstheater.com. And also at Utah Theater Bloggers. I have a bunch of reviews over there, so take a look there. And thanks so much. And we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.